Welcome back to the Huddle, everybody. We're your weekly playbook to help you gain forward progress in your flooring career. For our new viewers, welcome to the team. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, sir? How was your Thanksgiving?
What did it do?
It was pretty fantastic. It was nice to have a few extra days off and little family time. It was nice.
I did the same. I did unplug, which I'm not used to doing.
Good for you though, every now and again. I mean, I
Yeah,
worked a little bit over the weekend, but it was pretty low pressure because you had that extra day. So it was like I came in for a few hours, 4 or 5 hours, and just doodled around and got some stuff done. It was nice.
I like how anytime we say that we're working and you're like just a few hours, like
yeah.
between 5 and 10 hours. No big
So
deal.
so I was gonna add to that. I unplugged from technology, but I still came to the office and built some shelves, and I still cleaned the warehouse and I did some like
That's good. That's good stuff though. Just get your mind off things. I don't know.
I
I,
do.
I
You put
you
on a
know.
good book or some music, and I just lose yourself in creativity like that, man.
Well, that rolls right into our topic of the day, surviving the slow season. Tips for, you know, kind of how to maneuver and position yourself during the
Right.
slow season. And what we can do as installers, flooring companies. I know what a lot of architects and designers do at this time. Um, Wanted to let everyone know today's episode is sponsored by Floor Cloud. Floor Cloud is the number one offsite project monitoring system you can get your hands on. By far, it's the only system I know about that you can read your moisture meters. You can read with the right, with the connector, you can read your Wagner meters, so you can get your moisture testing, your ambient temperatures. You can get all of your site conditions right from your office. So you don't need to be making extra trips. We're in Kansas, and sometimes our projects can be hours away, and being able to monitor it and not have to take a separate trip out there just to find out the job's not ready. So, you know, mobilize your crews with confidence with Floor Cloud. If Ashlyn is on, you want to play the Floor Cloud? Go ahead and play the Floor Cloud video, Ashlyn. Let's.
Floor Cloud enables real-time monitoring of your job site conditions via desktop or mobile device. No more manual checking for temperature, humidity, or even dew point. No need for base stations, Wi-Fi, or external power sources. Simply scan the QR code on the front of your sensors and you're up and running with the most accurate and innovative site monitoring system in the flooring industry. Dispatch your crews with confidence and reduce your climate-related installation issues. Floor Cloud.
Now
I didn't bring it up,
Now
but
you know.
every time I watch that video, it reminds me of a few things. But one of the big things is the lack of the need for like, connection or some box that you got to put somewhere. It's cell driven, so it uses cell towers, and because it is mobile, if you have a installation manager, in one part of the state and the job's in another, and he's in charge of that, it is an incredible tool to help you with efficiency. So
Absolutely. We still got it rocking on a couple job sites right now, just so that way if anything goes wrong and it's snowing now, so if that temperature starts dipping, we'll know about it.
As
yeah.
temperature starts dipping, Daniel's floor crowd has started tripping.
It does too.
Well, a funny thing is that and a lot of the guys on here do commercial work. They know, but um, I want to make sure I'm doing a little housekeeping, little systems check. Are we live? I'm not showing we're live on my
We
side,
we
but
are live,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're
okay.
live.
All right, just making sure. Um, but the before and after and the temperature and humidity and everything that you're supposed to maintain on a project. We've had it get there, get a call, you get there, they keep it that way until you leave.
And then they do whatever they want again.
And then they do whatever they want to do. And in these temperatures, it's not super cold, but we're in the low mid 20s, lower 40s as a high. And it doesn't take long for a 70-degree job site to cool off real quick when they pull the temporary windows out or whatever
Yep.
the situation is. So it's smart that you're leaving it up even after you're done with your installation. Show those
Yeah.
fluctuations. And you
Learn the
guys
hard
use it a
way.
lot. Tell the audience, do you get a graph over time, the
Yeah,
history of,
yeah,
yeah,
it kind of
tell them
does
about
this
that.
thing right here. So it just gives
Can you show
you,
the screen?
I might be able
I
to.
don't know if
Hey,
he's
without
prepped
messing it up.
prepped to do that, but we're kind of throwing you out there. But the key is that you can go back and look at times.
Yeah.
I wanted just your guys's input on that because the way you guys utilize it. Uh,
Well,
I I know that you can go back and see on a certain date when the temperature drops or the humidity goes up or whatever, and you can see that kind of stuff. And of course, it alerts you when, if you'll load your products in on the project that you're doing, it'll alert you when those products are out of their specification. So if a spec calls for it to be 65 to 70 degrees or 75 degrees and a certain humidity point, Floor Cloud knows all that. All you got to do is tell it what products you have on there, and it'll let you know if something falls out of
yeah. Sorry, Daniel.
spec. Daniel's back, looks like. So, guys, we're talking about this at a very timely, you know, point in the year. This is typically when projects, unless you do a lot of like, um, even schoolwork will kind of start to happen over Christmas break. But right now, this is the deadest time usually for us, is between Thanksgiving and Christmas. You're not to Christmas break yet, so you don't have your shutdowns at your plants. In commercial world, that it can be a busy time actually during Christmas shutdown. But
Yeah.
after Thanksgiving and before Christmas, it's like it's just there's no work. There's no, I mean, there's work, but it just the activity is so much lower. At least that's our experience for 20 plus years,
Yeah.
and we're
It's
in it
pretty
now.
consistent.
So, what do you guys do in these times? What are some ways that you can, I kind of looked at this as how can we improve our business practices and processes during the time of slowdown? How can you reevaluate your budget if you're a flooring company? Uh, and even an installer, if you have, a few crews, evaluating your team members and these kinds of things and understanding where you're at for the year. Even you're close enough to the end of the year, you can kind of see what the picture is going to look like. Do you
Mhm.
guys do some of that activity? What do you do during this time?
So, historically, we've always, I don't say historically, in past years, let's just say the last 10 years, we've kind of prepped ourselves for during this time is when we get our vehicles in and get the maintenance done, catch up on all the stuff that we need to catch up on, trailer maintenance, vehicle maintenance, maintenance around the office, just because we know that we're not utilizing everything to full capacity right now. You start checking the tools, making sure that all the grinders are working properly, the vacuums are good, the filters, like, all the behind the scenes stuff that nobody ever really thinks about. You don't really tackle those unless you have to, right, during the year. But the slow time is our time to prep for the busy time. I would say is how we've been looking at it for a while. Um, we, I mean, there's a lot of different things. What we're doing right now, pretty much starting that process with reorganizing the warehouse and creating more storage space. We do see some training and some hands-on coming up in the near future. Um, Try to utilize it as prep time instead of slow time, right? Mindset, I think, is key. But that's about it. Daniel can add to that if he'd like.
Yeah, I mean, we got one of our vans in there today, just going over everything, making sure everything is all good with it. So that way I mean, we get a bunch of snow, so we need to make sure everything's ready for the winter time, right? The last thing you want to do is break down and start freezing, especially if you got like one of our machines or a bunch of material in there. And basically we've been, talking with Mr. Garden over at CFI and seeing what's going on with some trainings over here, and then also Sunny with the NAFCT and trying to get something over here.
Sweet. Yeah, I like the idea of like these are the times when we can get ready for like
Next
increase
wave.
our skill set, do some training. You're not going to miss out on as much work. If you're slow, you ought to be searching out some trainings. In my opinion, as an installer, it's one of the things I wish I would have done more of when I was just installing. But yeah, just getting ready for that next year. Another thing that a lot of companies, this is a good time for sales activities from, you know, making some phone calls and beating the streets a little bit. Um, we do we tend to have a quite a full plate of estimating going on at this time. Just not a lot of job starts or some of the projects if if it's getting cold and they're not quite we have a project right now that's got a ton of protect all on it and it's not closed in yet and it's not acclimated. 3 months ago acclimation was outside. It was 68 to 75 degrees all day every day and it was perfect. But this time of the year you start getting really extreme temperatures either up or down. Your projects just can't start if you're following the instructions. Your projects just can't start because
You just said
they're not
something
quite
too.
closed up.
You said this time of year, right? And I'm looking at Jorge's comment on there. It says weather's perfect down here, so we're still slammed. I'm wondering if the region dictates the slow time, right? Do the hotter states slow down at the hottest part of the year, and the colder states slow down during the coldest part? Like, I, that's a question for the audience. If you guys can give me some
Well, I
insight on that.
wonder also if it's not a residential commercial thing a little bit more. I do think that probably I'm guessing, and Jorge be a perfect person to kind of chime in here, but I'm guessing that residentially you got some people trying to get, their new floors in or finish a
Right
remodel
before
For
the
the
before
holidays,
holidays,
the holiday, before the big, Christmas and
right, and
and
that's one thing
New
you can
Year's.
do too, like because we're mainly commercial, right? But it is around this time of year where we start getting those phone calls and where all the stores, the residential stores are super jam packed. I mean, we got a phone call a couple weeks ago now, and Jeremy's in here right now. He went and helped us out on this project, but they called on like a Thursday and was like, this company was supposed to be here tomorrow, and just emailed me and said that they are a month out now. And this was something that was already scheduled, and they pushed them another month out. So it's
Yeah,
like,
we had a couple of residential jobs. They're big, like a big outside tile project. We're just polishing off. We just polished off, really. We got a few more little details to do, but they wanted to have Thanksgiving. They got a lot of family coming in for Thanksgiving and wanted us out of there. And so there's a big push up to Thanksgiving, and then I would imagine going into these other holidays, you'll have a big push on the residential stuff. We do just a very small amount from a revenue percentage, but 4 or 5, 6 projects a year of size, and then maybe another handful that are a little bit smaller. But everybody wants to get you in and like have their remodels and their floors done before their family comes into town. So
yep.
there are people
So
now
that way,
trying to get on before Christmas, but we have to tell them they are not going to get it.
till the new year.
Yeah.
it's always nobody ever wants to hear that, right? And sometimes people don't think about like, oh, we're running out of time. We got to get this done. And then they'll call and have we've definitely fudged our schedule more often than not around the holidays. I would say probably more so for the residential because they're smaller projects. Um, Hard to do it in the commercial industry, right? Because you kind of plan to be done before the holidays because your schedule's a lot further out than the pop up residential. But it's just one of those things where you just expect it. You expect those
Yeah.
calls. You got to be ready for it. And a lot of the residential guys around here are jammed right now. They're slammed, and it's that's a great problem to have.
Right. And
Yeah.
some of the commercial guys are still calling us looking for work. So it's
Yeah.
that mixture right there. That's where, diversifying and hey, if I'm not getting it over here, let me go over here for a little bit just to so you don't have any spots that have nothing in the schedule.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's a great segue to one of our previous podcasts about diversifying and getting a little bit. If you can at least be proficient in one or the other, and you live in, say, commercial for most of the time, but you're proficient in, you know, the residential vinyl products or carpet or whatever, you can pick up some work in those slow times. I know that when residential gets slow, man, we got guys just beating our doors down for looking for work. And we always, if we've worked with them before, you might give them some work, but a lot of times in the commercial, it's such a big commitment. It's easier to go from commercial and pick up a few smaller residential jobs than it is
Yes.
to go from residential and then pick up a commercial job because, you know, a new hospital could be a 3-month project for an installer.
Right. And if you're looking and the same thing, if you're looking at like a basic residential project, not anything specialty, like Hardhead takes care of, but from a basic standpoint, the knowledge that you need to transfer from a residential to a commercial project is substantially different. So that's
Mm-hmm.
where transitioning from commercial to residential is a little bit of an easier move, I would say, in my opinion. But I might be a little biased because that's what we do, what we've done. Um, but I know a lot of residential guys that are one product installation um, company. So in commercial, it's you can't do that. You can try, but you're not going to flourish.
So when's the Rollins, like,
Yeah, that's the
indicating that he's
customer
pretty busy
mindset.
during this time of year? Like, so when is the residential guys downtime? And do they have downtime? Like, Jorge is in a good climate and mainly residential. So does he ever have downtime? Do you ever have downtime, Jorge? He says, we're right. It's easier to do residential. Commercial has more factors in play.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think there's a
I,
lot more people sitting there making that you have
no
to
downtime for this guy.
please superintendents and other project managers and such. No downtime. All right, well, Jorge, this isn't for you.
But you know what? He keeps himself busy too, right? Like he goes out there, he networks, and he does the same thing. If he's not working on a project, he's working on the company or staging his next project for the next week. And that's a lot of the behind the scenes that a lot of people don't do and or won't do. If you're an employee, you don't do that. But if you're a proprietor, subcontractor, trade contractor, you probably do a little bit of that. But it might be like cleaning the van or something like that. But
Well,
I
Jeremy
see
brings
him.
up a good point here too. He really did hit on something. People save up for flooring to get done in time for the seasons, whereas budgets are running out on commercial jobs for the year. Like, your big, around here we have a lot of aerospace, aircraft
Mhm.
manufacturing, and a lot of those places, their capital budget for the year's pretty much done. Um,
Yep.
so, they may not have you come and replace carpet. We are lucky to have a few that have a different fiscal year, so their budgeting year is different than the fiscal year. so they don't run into that problem. But that's a good point as well. I think overall, it's about taking that downtime and getting trained up, getting your stuff geared up. It's getting your stuff ready, and then hunting. Like call some people that
Yeah.
you haven't done work for in a while, and touch base with them, see what they're up to.
Go grab a cup of coffee with someone, kind of
Hmm.
let them know that you're still there.
Plant those
Maybe some
seeds.
people want to reach out to
Yeah.
you, and
And like Jeremy says right here, it's all about the clients you're going after, right? So if you're going after a bunch of the lower end stuff, that's when even their budgets right around this time are kind of closed up. It's like, nope, I'm only going to be spending money on the holidays. I'm not going to do anything. And then the higher end is the exact opposite. It's, hey, I'm having family come over. I can't have my house look like this. I need this replaced
Hmm.
before they get here.
Yeah.
I can't let them know that I peed in the carpet in the living room when I was drunk. We got to get rid of that.
Yeah,
Not
I,
me, not
I
you
I
guys,
think
not
the
me.
clientele matters, but I think we all have some downtime. It just is a different time, except for Jorge. It sounds like he has no downtime.
And I would imagine that
He
it's
has to make his
easier to
own, I
stay.
guess.
Yeah, it's like he got planned his wedding, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Um,
Congratulations, publicly to Jorge for getting married. It's been a few weeks back now, but
Yep.
congrats, my brother.
yeah,
Um,
whoop, whoop.
yeah. So
It just it
getting
gives you time to do things that you don't really have the time for during your busy season, right? Like I'll be honest, like especially for these past few months where I'm in the field and I've been, doing trying to do the office anyways.
And bye, Daniel. So Daniel has been
looks like
spending a
we
little bit
lost it.
more time. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing over there.
Well,
Usually
my
it's me.
guess is that he was going down that path of saying, this is also a really good, I mean, it is a lot about family, and it's a really good time to reconnect, you know, spend some of that extra time with family, because a lot of us during the busy times are working some crazy hours, doing some crazy things. We travel a bit, so I travel, and if I'm wearing my project manager hat, I'm out there on a job, trying to make sure it goes right.
Yeah,
And I also have that old installer blood, so I jump down and help heat weld or lay some floor sometimes. It's just you know when you're running as hard as what I think Daniel was alluding to, now he's back, I'll let him take over. But I
Yeah,
think that's kind of where he was
people
going.
keep on
yeah.
calling me and I have it on do not disturb and it still just cuts everything out. I don't understand. I've gotten like 10 phone calls and it's the same number, must be an emergency that they can wait on.
Turn your Bluetooth off on your phone.
It's going to be some residential client needing some work done right now.
No, that's through a text message though. They did text me while we were on here. But yeah, it's getting the stuff like I've been slacking on social media. Like what can I do in order to get up our social media presence, right? Because it always goes back to what we learned at the chamber and it's not who you know, it's who knows you. So keep on getting your name out there. The
Yep.
the the more they see you, the more apt they are to be like, "Hey, I remember that name." Just like our vans, we got them wrapped 4 years ago and almost 5 years ago now, and everyone thinks we have like 20 vans,
Yeah.
but we don't. We have 2.
Two.
Yeah,
Like I
just see
seen
him
your what
everywhere.
I will say that like in a 2 day span, one of the two vans was on the east side of the state, on our side of the state, north, south. Like we were everywhere doing a lot of different things. They're like, oh, I just seen your van here and then here. And they're like, you guys are everywhere. I'm like, nope, you probably seen the same person. They were probably mad that they had to go deliver stuff.
Well, that still falls right in line with learning,
Yep.
improving,
It
taking
does.
that time to find those things. It's just in a different manner than maybe a hand skill, but learning a little bit of a new approach to your social media, like you were just talking about, or, you know, upping it, finding a
Bring
way to get.
and we can tie this into, the whole AI aspect of what we talk about. Bring AI into it. Ask them what you need to be doing better. What, get a calendar going or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good time for improvement, reconnection. I like to use the time to connect with old clients that I haven't done work with. You just kind of look back and you're like, hey, I haven't heard from them in several months. Connect with them, like you said, Jose. Go grab some coffee.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
just
networking.
reconnect, plant some
What's up,
seeds,
Felipe?
and you got a little bit of time.
I will add this though, and this goes for all year round. Just because it's slow and there isn't physical work for some of the smaller companies during some of these times doesn't mean that the office is not busy, because we can see those gaps coming in the schedule, and as we get closer, we are grinding, we are trying to fill those voids. um, and this year we got really busy, and with both of us being out of the office and filling in on projects, that's part of that can create a gap in the schedule as well. And
Yeah,
Yeah, down
definitely
the road.
actually, shout
right.
out to our mom because she manned the office while both of us were gone basically the entire time.
Wow.
Yep.
Shout out to Mama Gonzalez.
She did, and she's still here yelling at
Uh,
everybody and their organization skills in the warehouse. What?
so
Why did
let
they put it right
let's
here?
let's back it up to when we were talking about it's easier to move from commercial to residential because Rollins says that's not the case with like custom homes and dealing with clients. And we weren't
Correct.
talking about that, right? I think we were just
Yeah,
talking more of like the timelines and stuff like that. It's
yeah, it's
easier to go
certainly.
from a 6 month project and then catch a couple, you know, 2 3 day projects than it is to go from someone that's constantly doing 2 or 3 days to go to something that you're on the same project for 6 months. It's not the
Yeah, it's
same.
it's a it's a I
Commitment.
certainly was not talking about the skill set because I think
No,
both have their
I said that. I
particular
said
skill
basic.
sets.
I said basic installer. I didn't say like high end is
Yeah,
different, but yeah, the basic.
yeah, it's I, I certainly was referring to the fact that commercial projects are typically longer term. Even a smaller commercial job will take you can take you a week or two. you know what would be considered small in the commercial world, a 30 40,000 dollar project with say $10,000 of labor that could take 2 weeks to do. The same type of and I'm not saying, I know there's always outliers. Heck, there's commercial projects that are by far take longer, but in general you can go pick up uh, a living room and hallway and restroom LVP job and fit that into your commercial schedule. And it's just harder to fit, the four OR rooms in a residential guy's schedule, even if he does have the skill set to do it, and vice versa. So, yeah, it's certainly not a skill set thing from my perspective. It's more of just like, when I was installing, I was mainly commercial, but I picked up jobs all the time, and I have residential mainly. Dwayne Pruitt mainly does residential. It's harder to get him to pick up some of my commercial work than it is for one of our commercial guys to go pick up a little bit of residential work.
Unless he's just
Um,
doing the demo, right?
unless he's doing the demo, then he'll drop everything, jump on, he'll drop
Jump on the
everything,
machine.
jump on the machine and come to your place because he loves doing demo. And I don't blame him. It's pretty easy and fun work if you can
It
ride the
is.
machine.
E- Easy's relative. That YMCA that we just did,
Oh yeah.
ripping that rubber out like where the
Oh,
machine couldn't go. That was
Was that 3/4 inch rubber that was down?
no, it was just under a half inch.
Was it? Oh,
Yeah.
it must have been with the prep material
so is it
filled in.
Mondo? The old
We
Mondo
did rip
rubber?
out Mondo, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that used to when we installed it, and I installed it in a lot of gym floor, like running tracks and stuff at different high schools. And I was put down with the two-part epoxy
Yep.
adhesive, and
Yep. Not much has
I tell you
changed.
what, it is.
Then you have to
It's
brick everything down, every single
yeah,
seam.
yep. But taking it up is a bear.
Yeah,
taking it up as a bear.
that's that
That
permanent
bond just
install.
doesn't. Yeah,
It made
the bond doesn't break up
us
much.
replace the motor in our ride-on machine.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Which one is it? What machine you guys got? Right on.
National 5700
Yeah.
Gas or electric?
Electric.
electric.
Oh, that's the same one. I mean, that's ours.
Yep. So we
You had
have
to replace the motor?
Yeah.
yep.
Good thing we had one just hanging out.
Holy moly. I had to replace the batteries in ours not long ago. That was an expensive ordeal.
Yeah, how much did you pay the last time we did it? I think it was just under 10 grand.
It was like it was right around there, 8 or 10 grand.
Okay.
We got the Blue River batteries. I think that's what they're called. But yeah, it was. I mean, we had to have an electrician come and put them all in and wire it
Yep.
all together.
Got to
I
sequence
didn't
up.
want
Got
to
to do
touch
all
it. It
that.
looks
Yeah.
like yeah. I didn't want to touch it.
It
Didn't
looks
want
like
our
fun.
guys to.
See, it looks
Yeah.
like fun to me. Like I like that stuff. So
That's how you get electrocuted with 48 volts.
Yeah,
yeah,
that'll do it.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know
so
what? That's what we got to come up with, an adapter.
this is true. What Jorge says. That's why I bought the electric was
Yeah. A lot of
only because
hospital
of that.
work.
Yeah. Do too much enclosed space work and you just can't run the propane on those projects. If you have a construction site, it's easier. But if you're just got ICRA walls up on
Right.
hospital or you're doing a partial remodel of even a Y or something like that, you just can't run them inside like that.
Yeah, they wouldn't even let us open because we were having trouble getting the rubber to stick on the risers, and we brought a gallon of contact and we asked them, hey, is this okay? And they go back with the SDS to their safety guy and he says it's okay if you do it at night. Said I will use the water-based stuff, thank you.
Yeah.
But I mean, all this, talking about the machines and breakdowns and stuff, this also gives this downtime gives you a chance to catch up on your machinery too, not just the vehicles, but your tools. Like, what can you clean and get ready? Take some stuff apart and get all the dust out so that way when things start ramping up again, because they're going to, everything is all good and ready to go.
Ready to rock. Replace some cord ends. Update some cords. Sweep out your van. Rearrange your setup so that way it's more suited for now because everybody's workload evolves, right? You know what you need every day. You know what you don't need every day. And this is just my perspective, right? Like I'm just repeating, or I'm just letting you guys know what we did and how we started, and when we started progressing. That's how it happened. Just like, oh, we need to be better at this. Oh, look at these tools keep breaking because we're not taking care of them. So what if we have to build a shelf and have its own compartment to protect our investment?
So, yeah, so what Jocelyn says right here is actually pretty nice. It's including things in operating expenses, right? So essentially what we do is there's every week I have money going into 3 different accounts, right? And it just automatically goes in there. So that way, if anything happens, and it just did happen because one of our lines of credit, the bank is no more. So once we started getting these bigger projects, it's like, man, what am I going to do? And we had to self fund. So that was the kicker there. But I mean, straight up, just take some of that money that you're making and get it out of your account into another account, so that way you're not going to touch it. So when things come up, when you need to afford something, you can.
Yeah.
The hardest part is
That's
getting
great
started on
advice.
that.
Yeah, I can't say that we do that, so that's a great piece of advice there.
Like a Jeremy. Jeremy, you're only repairing them because you use
Well,
them.
that's in general. I tell you what, we when you start talking about tools and allowing people to utilize them, uh, it's tough. letting, we have some of our subs that we allow to use our tools, and then you get them back and you don't know anything's wrong with them. Our guys are supposed to test them in and out, but things get overlooked, and next thing you know, you go to take a tool out and it's broken down. You're like, son of a gun, I'm supposed to be doing this XYZ thing today,
Oh
and
yeah.
I don't have the tool to do it. So it's just a good time to bust it down and take out each tool, make sure everything's running
Right.
well, and
And then
go
this
through them.
actually can be like everything is tying together, right? So I'm going to tie this back to the networking aspect because when our machine did break down, we were like, well, it broke down on a job site. What are we going to do now? And it's like, I met this guy at the gym. He works for this place. Let's give him a call. They had someone there, I think that day or the next day to check it
Um,
out,
that day.
said, this is what it is. And then good thing we had the motor, right? Because we replaced the motor in our other one, which it wasn't the motor. And then we replaced the
Misdiagnosis.
batteries. They said it wasn't the batteries. Turns out it was the charger, but that's a whole nother story. But I mean, they had this machine back up and running in a couple days. Like,
2 days.
so definitely like networking is huge. I know the chamber has an event tomorrow, the year end event. I don't know if you're going to that. I can't go. My son has wrestling tomorrow. It's his first wrestling meet.
Oh, sweet. It is that
I'll
season.
probably
My
I'll probably
son's
end up going.
wrestling.
I think I
Jeremy says
registered for
that
it.
the cool glide needs to be looked at because only half of it's working. I already got a new one because that happened. And I think it's just an ongoing. I hope someone watches this.
So part of that is because of the amperage, right? If he's plugged into an outlet that isn't pushing out the amps, it's not going to work properly, and
It's
that
been
could
an
in
ongoing issue
turn
with this
it requires
specific model.
a dedicated 20 amp
Oh,
circuit.
really?
Yeah, it requires a dedicated 20 amp circuit.
Holy crap. That's more in the microwave.
That's the same as the vacuum.
Yes. The problem is that if you look at the I'm a nerd, guys. If you look at the way that they have the capacitor set up, it's not storing enough energy consistently to keep that going. So they either got to do a better series of capacitors or up their game.
Who
Well,
makes Cool Glide? Tracks.
Yep. Tracks. Oh, nobody remembers those commercials.
Who works for Tracks? They need to be watching this so they can give me a new
maybe
Cool
they'll
Glide again.
maybe
That would be
maybe
our
they'll
third one.
maybe they'll chime in. So that's a good point though, talking about how networking benefits you in the long run on multiple different fronts, but that's one good example of just having that, you got a problem, and get it taken care of. So my best what we do, and I really, I sent my uh um COO email while we were on this call because I was like, you know what? Somebody said clean out filters. I was like, hey man, I see our guys got a little capacity, keep him busy. Uh, have we checked all the filters in all of our vacuums and all of our equipment to clean them out and make sure? So I sent that literally while I was on this podcast. So, just trying to get things ready
Right.
for the season, man. And
Kendall
so,
says that's why he uses his regular seam iron, but I think that's just because he's old and he doesn't like new technology.
True. I do have a question for anybody out there who utilizes a van. Has anybody have any experience with the diesel heaters, like the external smaller diesel heaters to keep the
You
back
talking
of the
about the
vans
ones that
warm?
are all on TikTok right now?
Although, well, just in general, I know they have the smaller, little ones
huh,
like that.
I have no idea.
Just if anybody's listening and has experience, I'd like to hear it.
So Jocelyn says she sees networking work well when you stay consistent, following up with people. That's 100% right. And that's why once you start going to some of these events, like I would love to make it to the chamber one tomorrow, but I can't. But we do a lot of minority contractor events, and you see the same people over and over again, and then it's just like anything else, they become top of mind. Hey, I need like an electrician, I got you. Hey, I need a
Hmm.
drywaller, I got you.
Boom.
Hey, I need this, I need a painter right here. And that's what it's all about, right? And then the same thing with them, it's, hey, I do flooring, so they're going to send whoever my way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can
Yeah, I
hit
think it's
Daniel
just a
up.
good time to get your stuff ready and reconnect with people, spend some time with family. And it sounds like not everybody has these same downtimes, but I will tell you there are downtimes, and in these slow times is regardless of whether it's now or at some point, you definitely want to have some time uh, to kind of connect, um, redo your stuff. Um, Eduardo, how do I send a email to support@gocarrera.com, Eduardo, and they'll get your profile. Tell them where you're at in getting your profile active, and they'll get you all active. And coming soon, we'll have profile only. So that'll be just you'll get a card with your profile. You don't have to connect your bank account. You won't have to have a W. We don't care if you're a business or not, where it's just going to be a installer profile only. And you'll have your score, and you'll be able to utilize that. Go up to your homeowner, whoever you're working for, give them your card, show them your card. They can QR it, look at your public profile, see how you stack up against or elevate above other
Yeah.
installers, come over to their house, giving them bids, and hopefully help a lot of people get paid what they're worth.
Yeah, and this is a great time. We're talking about slow time. Get on Go Carrera, get your stuff updated, activated, all that good stuff. Because I was on LinkedIn earlier, and you guys posted something about, what features do you want to see? Because
Yeah.
Go Carrera is about working for you, right? So what do you want to see on here so that way things can be incorporated later? Sup, Cool Kev?
Cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna do get an episode in to kind of give an update on what we're doing. We're doing some rebranding, working on getting the rating system renamed out. It won't be called the Hammer rating in the future, but it's going to be more applicable to what the score actually does and is, and working on getting that accredited and doing some of those things. And really, all we care about is providing the installer a way to separate themselves and make more money. And if you're really great, you ought to be paid like you're really great. If you need some
Mhm.
work, at least you know it and you can take the necessary steps to become great. And then, ultimately, it serves our industry and the consumers, the people who buy our products and services, better when they are able to, know why is your price 12,000 and this other guy that, XYZ that says he's awesome but has no proof of how awesome he is 9,000. Well, if you can clearly show that you are, a superiorly trained, and you have a great reputation and all these things that Go Carrera can prove to your customer, well, then you're going to be able to get that extra money. And there's a lot of proof out there in the industry, a lot of proof from consumer reports that the people will pay you a little extra. They'll pay you a lot of extra if they know you're great. Um, I know that. I've been paid more than other guys plenty of times because of the fact that I was good. And if I had a Go Career profile back in the day when I was installing all the time, that would have been my number one goal, would have been to get my rating up as high as possible and use that to get me more work. So more news coming down the pipe. Join Jumpstart to hire the new guys coming out of the FCEF and the introductory trainings. Let's get these guys to work. It's a good time to evaluate your crews and your processes, procedures, your equipment, connect with family, and obviously jump on the huddle here and conversate with your friends. We're here every Tuesday 3 p.m. Central. If you're catching us on YouTube, give us some love on there. Give us a like, a subscribe. Give us a follow if you're on one of the social channels. Engage with us. Let us know what we can do better here at the Huddle. What topics you want us to research. We have some capacity to do research and find out answers on things. Everything from labor to products. Bring your questions. I would say that we do tend to get the ear of some of the industry and able to make some changes if we know what those
Yep.
changes you foresee would be beneficial for the industry. So get on here and conversate, join the community, join the movement. We are still here. What episode number is this, guys?
120 something.
So
Dang.
I think we've missed 1 or 2 weeks the entire time that we've started. So 126 it looks like is what
120,
Ashlyn says.
127. Oh, she
127.
lied.
So 127 weeks. So that's over 2 years of
Maybe,
constant
she says.
content. And we have committed ourselves to this. We like doing it. I enjoy always connecting with my two very good friends in the industry. And I love all your guys'
Uh,
comments. So
I
continue to
know you
engage.
you you wanted to say homies, but you didn't want to put us out like that.
So continue to engage, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Don't forget, we have,
Uh,
if you are a
I think
Spanish
next
speaker,
week
don't
is
forget that.
Spanish.
Oh, is next
That's
next
what
week is Spanish. Okay,
Jorge says. Two of the other episodes were Spanish. I mean,
this
one of
is
them was
true.
bilingual.
I'm gonna be ready for it.
Jo-
I bought some about those
Some translating
translating
headphones.
headphones from the TikTok shop. I want to see if it's gonna work.
Nice. Well,
I
I
gotta
So
learn
want
to
to
use it.
thank Jorge for hosting the Spanish huddle, the Spanish speaking huddle, and you're doing a great job. Please, everybody, if you speak Spanish and you know you like our content or you hear about it, jump on and join Jorge. Give him some love. Give him some comments and let him know what what you want to hear.
yeah,
We want to really try to engage the Hispanic community, the all the Spanish speaking community to help um, get plugged into trainings. A lot of times those things are not known. And I know that Jorge and I are on a community together at CFI that is aimed. And by the way, Jorge, you and I need to get on the phone about this, but engaged in trying to increase the Spanish speakers in the CFI membership and training, family. So yeah, join
and
along.
it's
We love
not
you
just
guys and thanks for
people that
joining us.
are in the industry right now either, right? A few weeks ago, my mom and I went to one of the elementary schools, and they had this event for the English as a second language people, and I don't really know all the ins and outs of it, but they had a bunch of vendors there, and it wasn't like geared towards anything. It wasn't, hey, come buy for me. It's, hey, what can we help you guys do to succeed in what you guys got going on? And I mean, a lot of them were like, you can really tell the kids that are interested in it like later on. So not only can you use it for like later employment, but even some of the people that were there, they're like, "Hey, I do flooring already. So what can I do to get with you guys?"
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things I want to do at Go Career is create a career path, a really clear career path, and how you can leverage your profile to do that. It doesn't matter if you work by the hour for somebody or you're an employee company that hires all nothing but employees. It's a great way to incentivize your employees to get better and perform great and is the higher hammer rated at this point hammer rating. um, the higher hammer rated guys, you can have a scale in which you can reward off of. So Yeah, thanks for all the love. We're ending the
Oh,
year
love it.
of 2024, and I just want to tell everybody how grateful I am that you've joined us on this journey, and we hope to see you again next week. And
Even if
you
you
know,
don't speak Spanish, go on there and talk crap to them in English. They'll
Can
translate
throw,
it
somebody
on.
tell
throw 'em for a loop.
can somebody tell Mr. King to give me a call back,
Jeff King,
please? Yes, sir.
Mr. Jeff. I think I've got his number. I'll see if I can text him too.
I'm just gonna start texting him every day. Yep. If you don't
Pr-
call me back, you're gonna get 2
Pruitt.
texts a day.
I don't know if Pruitt's on here, but he sure he's communicated with Jeff quite often, so maybe he'll get with you. So. All right, guys. Well, another great episode. I appreciate it. This is just a lot of our opinions. Sometimes you're going to get on here and get a lot of
Yep.
deep technical knowledge. Sometimes you're just going to get three guys' opinions about how to do X, Y, or Z. And this was, obviously a timely podcast with a lot of places do look at this time of year and it slows down. To you residential guys, I'm kind of jealous, and you're all swamped, and we're over here putting out bids, but we're
Well,
a lot of these concepts we talked about we're implementing. I learned some stuff today, so I'm gonna go implement.
yeah, that's one of the main things that you can do. Just take something away, like taking that chunk of money out every week, having it go somewhere where you don't touch it. That way, when you do run into the slow time, it's like, you know what? I can just hang out for a little bit, do a few things. But I mean, we all need a break sometimes, right?
Yeah. All right,
Love it.
fellas. Love you. Good seeing
Thank
you
you,
again.
everyone.
We'll catch you guys next week.
See you guys.
All right. Bye.